Welcome to Green Garden Community TV. Think your small front yard doesn't have space for beauty? Think again. In today's episode, we'll show you how 5 minimalist landscaping ideas for 2025 can completely transform even the tiniest patch of earth into a modern, stylish masterpiece. From floating planters that defy gravity to bold asymmetry that breaks every design rule in a good way, these ideas will change how you see your entryway forever. Curious how clean lines, sculptural greens, and framed lawns can boost your curb appeal without clutter? Let's explore the front yard trends turning tiny spaces into unforgettable welcomes. If you think a small front yard can't make a big impression, think again. In 2025, one of the most powerful design tools in minimalist landscaping is right under your feet, the linear pathway. This concept focuses on using clean lines, structured materials, and tailored green borders to guide the eye straight to your front door in the most visually appealing way possible. Imagine stepping onto a soft gray concrete path framed by narrow strips of lush mondo grass. The lines are straight, the edges sharp, and everything feels intentional. There's no clutter, no fuss, just simple design done right. This is the kind of front yard that quietly says, this home is stylish, modern, and well cared for. Perfect for narrow spaces, these linear designs give small yards a sense of direction and depth, making them feel longer and more expansive. Whether you're redesigning or starting from scratch, this approach proves that minimalism doesn't mean boring, it means brilliant. Let's explore how to create a high-impact welcome zone with nothing more than form, function, and a few bold lines. Minimalist front yard landscaping in 2025 is all about control, clarity, and clean visual impact, and linear pathways with sleek green borders are leading the charge. This design concept combines structured hardscape with minimalist planting to deliver a sophisticated, modern entry point for even the smallest front yards. The central element is a straight or slightly offset concrete path that leads directly to your front door. Instead of decorative curves or winding routes, this path embraces the shortest distance between 2 points. That directness creates a sense of purpose and elegance. Concrete slabs, natural stone tiles, or long-format pavers work best here, especially in subtle neutral tones like soft gray, taupe, or charcoal. The surface should appear seamless and uninterrupted, emphasizing the line itself. On either side of the path, narrow planting borders define the space and soften the structure. Choose simple, low-growing plants that stay neat and contained. Popular choices include dwarf mondo grass, liriope, or a tight row of blue fescue. These create texture and color without visual chaos. For a more refined look, consider adding black river pebbles or crushed granite mulch between the border and the walkway. Lighting is another vital element. Linear pathway lighting, set low to the ground, enhances the line of sight and gives the entry a subtle glow at night. Choose fixtures in black or brushed steel to maintain a minimalist aesthetic. Avoid decorative lanterns or bulky lights, they'll break the clean lines you're trying to achieve. Framing elements like narrow fencing or vertical planters placed symmetrically along the edges of the path can help direct the viewer's attention toward your entrance. These verticals don't need to be tall, just enough to mirror the pathway and balance the horizontal flow. What's especially effective about this layout is how it manipulates perspective. Even a yard that's just 10 feet wide can feel grander when space is broken into lines instead of clusters. The long, uninterrupted direction leads the eye forward, making everything feel more spacious. This minimalist front yard idea doesn't require a large budget either. It's more about discipline in design and carefully curated materials than expensive installations. With proper maintenance, especially clean edging and occasional plant trimming, your small front yard will always look neat and modern. Choosing a linear pathway with sleek green borders isn't just about looking good, it's about smart design that works. One of the greatest advantages of this layout is how it transforms small, awkward front yards into organized, elegant entrances. When space is limited, creating clear lines of movement is key. This design draws the eye forward, adds structure, and gives your yard purpose. Every square foot feels like it has a job. From a maintenance perspective, this layout is ideal. The concrete or stone path is easy to clean and rarely needs repair. The selected border plants are typically drought-tolerant, low-maintenance, and compact, meaning less pruning, watering, or fertilizing. You can keep things beautiful without spending your weekends in the garden. And let's not forget curb appeal. A minimalist front yard with linear pathways signals a modern, well-maintained home. If you're thinking about resale value, this is a strategic move that boosts your home's first impression without a complete landscape overhaul. Most of all, this design invites clarity and calm. Instead of clutter and confusion, your guests and you are welcomed by balance, rhythm, and beauty, all achieved through simple lines and clean greenery. What if the most powerful feature of your small front yard is simply a patch of grass? In 2025, the minimalist trend has taken a fresh turn by reintroducing green lawns, but this time, they're framed with precision and softened by curated planting. It's not about sprawling grass that's hard to manage, it's about clean geometry, crisp borders, and using a compact lawn as a lush visual anchor. Picture this: a rectangular lawn, perfectly edged with concrete or metal, surrounded by soft lavender, blue fescue, or creeping thyme. No clutter, no overgrowth. Just one serene green space that draws the eye and says, "Welcome home." This style works especially well for front yards that feel tight, awkward, or uninspiring because the lawn creates symmetry, order, and breathing room. In a world where water-conscious gardening and low-maintenance design are key, this framed lawn approach delivers beauty without the baggage. It's timeless, elegant, and incredibly easy to care for. Whether you're giving your home a makeover or designing a front yard from scratch, this idea proves that minimalism doesn't mean removing green, it means framing it beautifully. In the world of minimalist landscaping, it's easy to assume that lawns are out. But in 2025, we're seeing a comeback not of the sprawling suburban lawn, but of the precise, purposeful framed lawn. This design turns a small front yard into a structured, stylish canvas by anchoring it with a clean square or rectangular patch of turf, outlined with minimal edging and surrounded by soft, calming plant textures. The concept is simple, but the result is striking. Start by measuring out a compact lawn area that complements your house's architecture, usually a central rectangle or offset square. The lawn should be no more than a third of the total front yard space to avoid overpowering the design. The goal is to use green as a calming focal point, not as the entire yard. Next, frame it with materials that emphasize modernity and precision. Popular options include slim concrete curbs, black powder-coated steel edging, light gray gravel bands for visual contrast. This creates a visual frame around the lawn that adds definition and geometry. The crisp border ensures the grass never looks wild or uncontrolled, a key feature in minimalist design. Around the lawn's edges or in surrounding planting beds, introduce soft, low-maintenance plants that complement the simplicity. Choose grasses and perennials that sway gently in the breeze and provide subtle color and texture without overwhelming the space. Ideal choices include blue fescue, compact and steel blue in tone, creeping thyme, as both a ground cover and bloom, lavender, for fragrance and structure, dwarf ornamental grasses like hammeln, fountain grass. These plantings soften the hard lines of the lawn's frame while contributing to a modern, serene aesthetic. Use mulch or fine gravel around the plants for a neat finish. Lighting is optional but can elevate the design, especially if you install low-glow LED ground lights at each corner of the lawn or along the front edge. This adds visual interest at night and enhances the crisp structure after dark. One of the best parts of this layout is its balance between green space and minimal care. The small lawn patch requires much less water, mowing, and edging than a traditional yard, while the surrounding plants are generally drought-tolerant and easy to manage. Visually, this design balances hard and soft elements, providing a modern curb appeal that doesn't sacrifice warmth. It gives your home a welcoming, magazine-worthy entryway that remains simple, affordable, and timeless. Choosing a framed lawn with minimalist edging and soft planting offers a perfect balance between modern style and nature's comfort. One of the biggest benefits is visual structure. Your front yard gains a focal point that draws the eye and gives clarity to the layout. It's incredibly effective in small spaces because it makes them appear organized and intentional. This design also fits perfectly with busy lifestyles. A small lawn section is far easier to maintain than a full yard of grass. You'll use less water, less fertilizer, and less time mowing while still enjoying the rich color and cooling effect that only real grass can offer. Meanwhile, the surrounding plants are low maintenance, drought-tolerant, and provide year-round texture and color. And let's talk about curb appeal. This clean, modern look signals care, taste, and intentionality. Whether you're updating your home for resale or simply want to make coming home feel special, this approach sends a quiet message of elegance. It elevates the entire feel of your home from the outside in. In short, this design brings the best of both worlds. A natural lawn softened by planting, all wrapped in a structure that's as modern as it is timeless. Want your front yard to look like it belongs on the cover of a design magazine? In 2025, one of the most effective trends for small spaces is combining sculptural planting with a symmetrical layout. This approach transforms your front yard into a curated, gallery-like space where every plant is placed with purpose and the entire composition feels refined, polished, and calm. Imagine two small topiary trees flanking your front path like green sentinels. Beneath them, a grid of ground cover fills the space with soft texture, while tall sculptural grasses at the corners frame the view. The balance is immediate and powerful. Symmetry brings order, while sculptural planting introduces visual drama without chaos. This layout works wonders for small front yards because it adds structure and height without cluttering the space. It's about thoughtful placement over variety and clean design over crowded greenery. If your front yard feels messy or mismatched, symmetry and strong plant forms can instantly shift the entire mood from random to regal. So if you're looking for something that feels bold, luxurious, and architectural, without the high maintenance, this concept could be your perfect match. A small front yard doesn't need dozens of different plants to feel vibrant. In fact, the less is more principle works to your advantage when you embrace sculptural planting in a symmetrical layout. This 2025 trend transforms even the tiniest entrance into a space that feels curated, controlled, and quietly luxurious. Let's break down what makes this concept work so beautifully. First, symmetry. In minimalist front yard design, symmetry brings calm and predictability. It provides a visual anchor that leads the eye inward, giving structure to your entryway. The most common use is to place identical plantings on either side of your pathway or porch. Think, 2 cube-shaped boxwoods, 2 identical raised beds, or a pair of pots with spiral topiaries. Next comes sculptural planting. These are plants with strong architectural forms, those that look like living sculptures. They include boxwood, clipped into spheres, cubes, or cones; agave or yucca, for a more desert modern look; Olive trees or dwarf citrus trees, with slender trunks and rounded canopies. Ornamental grasses with vertical lines. By choosing just a few types of plants with distinct shapes, you avoid visual chaos. The layout becomes more about form, repetition, and balance than about color or botanical variety. The ground surface matters too. Instead of filling every inch with plants or mulch, use a neutral hardscape as a foundation. Large concrete pavers with gaps of ground cover between them like creeping thyme or dwarf mondo grass offer texture and breathing room. This approach keeps the overall look modern and airy, especially in compact spaces. Lighting is your secret weapon here. Place uplighting under the sculptural plants to highlight their form at night. Or use path lights to enhance the symmetry and guide guests along a straight, balanced entry. Choose matte black or brushed metal fixtures to stay within the minimalist aesthetic. Sculptural planting also works beautifully against a clean background. If your home's facade is white, gray, or natural wood, these strong green forms will pop dramatically. If your exterior is more colorful, opt for foliage in darker tones like deep green or silver to create contrast. The layout is surprisingly easy to maintain. Because most of the plants are chosen for shape, not bloom, they tend to stay tidy longer and don't require constant seasonal changes. A few yearly prunings and regular weeding will keep everything sharp and impressive. This type of garden design is especially well suited for homeowners who want sophistication without the fuss. It's timeless, striking, and scalable. Your front yard is 8 feet wide or 20 feet long. The sculptural planting and symmetrical layout approach does more than elevate the look of your small front yard. It transforms it into a space that feels intentional, balanced, and high-end. One of the greatest benefits is the instant sense of order this layout brings. With symmetry and strong shapes, your entry doesn't just look cleaner, it feels calmer and more focused. This design style is especially powerful in small spaces. Instead of overwhelming the area with variety, it simplifies the landscape into digestible, elegant parts. That makes your home feel larger, more refined, and better maintained, exactly the impression you want to give to guests and passersby. There's also a big maintenance bonus here. Because sculptural plants are slow-growing and shaped, they require fewer touch-ups throughout the year. You're not dealing with rapid-spreading perennials or messy blooms. It's about control, not chaos. Finally, this look offers year-round beauty. Unlike gardens that rely on seasonal flowers, this style stays consistent and impressive from January to December. Whether it's daytime or night, spring or winter, your small front yard will maintain its polished presence. Its form, function, and timeless curb appeal all in one modern layout. What if your small front yard didn't need to be filled but lifted? One of the sleekest trends in minimalist landscaping for 2025 is the use of floating planters to create elegant green structure without overwhelming the ground. This modern approach plays with visual balance, space, and light, proving that sometimes less on the ground means more to the eye. Picture a row of long, narrow concrete or metal planters mounted just above the ground along your home's entry. They appear to hover lightly in place, supported by discrete bases or attached directly to walls or fences. Inside, structured greenery like maiden grass, dwarf bamboo, or rosemary adds natural volume and texture. The space below stays clear and open, creating the illusion of airiness and movement. This idea is perfect for ultra-small front yards, concrete entryways, or areas where you can't plant directly into the soil. It also works incredibly well with modern or industrial-style homes, emphasizing architecture and clean geometry. Floating planters give you all the aesthetic benefits of green design without cluttering your limited footprint, and they invite the eye upward, not just outward. So, if you're looking to create a modern impression with minimal ground use, this could be your game changer. Minimalism in 2025 is not just about having fewer things, it's about doing more with space. And nowhere is that more visible than in the use of floating planters in small front yard design. These sleek containers elevate greenery literally and visually by lifting plants above ground level, offering a clean, architectural solution to tight or hard-to-use spaces. Floating planters are typically mounted along walls, fences, or placed on raised, recessed bases to give the illusion of hovering above the ground. This creates separation between the landscape and the architecture, adding depth and dimension. In a small front yard, where every square foot matters, that sense of lift can be incredibly valuable. Choose rectangular planters made of raw concrete, Corten steel, black powder-coated metal, or smooth white composite. These materials enhance the clean lines and complement modern exterior finishes. Long and shallow containers tend to work best. They're easier to mount and balance visually with narrow facades or short fences. As for the plants, select greenery that grows upright or cascades gently downward for contrast. Great minimalist options include dwarf bamboo, adds verticality and motion; rosemary, aromatic and structured; trailing succulents like sedum or string of pearls; compact ornamental grasses like Japanese forest grass. Floating planters allow you to build height and texture into your landscape without disturbing your base surface, perfect for front yards with paved walkways, small patios, or entryways with no soil access. This design choice also encourages a sense of order and rhythm. Whether you install one centered planter or a symmetrical series along the path, the effect is geometric and calming. Beneath the floating planters, keep the surface clean and minimal. Use smooth gravel, polished concrete, or fine bark mulch in a monochrome tone, gray, black, or beige. This allows the planter and plants to take center stage while visually anchoring the design. Want to take the design further? Add backlighting underneath the planters for a floating glow at night. LED strip lights or solar uplights work well to enhance their levitating effect after dark. This touch transforms your front yard into a modern sculpture garden, viewable both day and night. One of the standout advantages of this layout is its low maintenance. Because the soil is contained, there's less weeding, better drainage, and simpler watering. It's an ideal system for anyone who wants structured landscaping without constant upkeep. Whether you're redesigning an urban townhouse entry or refreshing a tight suburban front step, floating planters give you a modern, architectural look with room to breathe. Floating planters with ground-level simplicity give you the best of both worlds: sleek, elevated beauty and a clear, functional ground plane. In small front yards where floor space is limited, this design technique reclaims vertical rooms so you get more greenery without sacrificing walkways or usable space. This layout is especially helpful for homeowners working with concrete or paved surfaces where traditional planting isn't possible. Instead of digging into the ground, you're adding structure on top of it without the mess, without the maintenance headaches, and without damaging your home's exterior. From a practical perspective, floating planters are easy to maintain. Because the planters are self-contained, you don't have to worry about invasive roots, weeds, or compacted soil. Watering is localized, pruning is minimal, and everything stays neatly within its border. Visually, floating planters add rhythm and harmony to your front yard. Whether used symmetrically or in sequence, they guide the eye along your entry and accent your home's architecture. They also create a modern, high-design feel that instantly upgrades curb appeal. For those seeking a minimal yet impactful front yard look, this approach delivers clarity, organization, and elegance with far less effort than traditional in-ground planting. What if the secret to making your front yard feel dynamic and modern is to break the rules of symmetry? In 2025, one of the boldest minimalist design moves is the asymmetrical garden with layered green textures, a layout that embraces imbalance, flow, and natural movement, while still keeping things structured and serene. Imagine stepping into a front yard where one side is anchored by tall, swaying ornamental grasses, while the other side features a cascading ground cover that hugs the path. Behind them, medium-height shrubs create a visual bridge, forming a gentle slope of green tones and textures. There's no mirror image, but everything feels perfectly in place. This idea is ideal for small front yards that feel flat or one-dimensional. Instead of matching both sides, you play with height, density, and contrast to build a landscape that's minimal but far from boring. It guides the eye without overwhelming it and creates a quiet sense of movement from the street to your doorstep. So if you're craving a look that feels fresh, modern, and natural without the pressure of perfect symmetry, this could be the minimalist layout that sets your home apart. The idea of symmetry has long dominated garden design, but in 2025, asymmetry is making a powerful entrance. For small front yards, the asymmetrical entry garden with layered green textures offers a fresh take on minimalism, one that replaces rigidity with rhythm and predictable patterns with peaceful visual flow. Here's how it works. Rather than arranging plants in mirrored pairs on both sides of your path or entry, you compose the space using deliberate imbalance. One side might feature taller vertical elements like clumps of ornamental grass or bamboo, while the other balances out with creeping ground cover and rounded shrubs. The result? A layout that's light, organic, and quietly sophisticated. This layered design typically follows three heights. Tall, back or one side choose upright plants like feather reedgrass, red-tipped photinia, or dwarf clumping bamboo. Medium, mid-zone use compact shrubs like boxwood, pittosporum, or silver mound artemisia. Low, foreground creeping thyme, blue star creeper, or ornamental sedum add a living carpet of texture. Use neutral hardscape materials, such as poured concrete, slate stepping stones, or crushed gravel, to allow the green textures to stand out. Keep your walkway clean and unbroken, allowing the plants to softly frame the path, not intrude on it. The beauty of this approach lies in contrast and movement. The layered plants catch the wind, change color with the seasons, and create depth that makes your yard feel larger. Asymmetry also feels more relaxed, echoing how plants naturally grow in the wild, but with a minimalist's eye for control and restraint. Lighting can be used to accentuate the height changes. Consider a few directional spotlights to illuminate the taller plants, or path lights to draw attention to the mid-level textures. Choose black or bronze finishes for a sleek, modern finish. As for color, stick with mostly green tones, deep emeralds, soft sages, and silvery blues to maintain the minimalist aesthetic. The goal isn't a rainbow of blooms, but rather a harmonious blend of textures and heights that make the space feel rich and peaceful. This design is especially helpful for small yards that feel boxed in or overly rectangular. By pulling the visual weight off-center and using layers to soften lines, the space feels more open, natural, and connected to the home's architecture. And remember, asymmetry doesn't mean chaos. Every element still has a place, it's just not mirrored. With careful planning, your front yard will feel balanced and intentional, even when it's not symmetrical. Thanks for watching Green Garden Community TV. We hope these 5 minimalist front yard ideas have sparked your imagination and shown you how even the smallest outdoor space can make a bold, modern statement in 2025. Whether it's sleek pathways, framed lawns, floating planters, or sculptural greenery, simplicity and smart design go a long way. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more fresh landscaping inspiration every week. Until next time, keep your garden green, clean, and beautifully minimalist.